Joining me right now is former NYPD Commissioner and the Vice Chairman of K2 Intelligence, Ray Kelly, is here. And Commissioner, it's good to see you.
Great to be with you, Maria.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So why is this shooting spree not being investigated as a terror incident? We spoke with the Fresno police chief earlier on the show, and he basically said, yeah, he was yelling Allah Akbar, but it's more hate. How do you see this?
Yeah, well, he's on the ground. He has the facts. Myself, personally, I probably would have waited a little bit. Terrorism is a federal crime. The FBI is in charge of those investigations. I don't know if they've made a statement, but I would guess they hadn't made a statement because they want to look at his background, look at his emails. Was he in prison? Who was he in prison with? Who does he hang around with? That sort of thing before you make a definitive statement. So
is there a pressure, you think, on police chiefs to not call it out as terrorism?
You know, it depends perhaps on the local political environment.
Right.
You know, maybe that's the way it is in Fresno. I don't know. But again, the chief was there. He has information. He made that statement.
You would think that there wasn't this pressure, given this is a new day in Washington. I mean, Attorney General Jeff Sessions has been very clear, and the battle over immigration policies and sanctuary cities continues to rise. The Secretary of Department of Homeland Security defended the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. Listen to what he said. I'd like to get your reaction.
We are under attack every single day. The threats against us are relentless. When people think about DHS, they think about how we respond to terrorism. But our jobs are to secure the nation from the many threats we face, from all hazards. If lawmakers do not like the laws that we enforce, that we are charged to enforce, that we are sworn to enforce, then they should have the courage and the skill to change those laws. Otherwise, they should shut up and support the men and women on the front lines.
So this is an issue that we've been talking about a lot last couple of years. As former police commissioner of New York City, how do you see this? Do you think the federal government should have the power to tell law enforcement on a local level how to act?
No. I'm against sanctuary cities, and New York was not under Mayor Bloomberg a sanctuary city. The city council put some things in towards the end of his term, but I don't think local police officers should be the agents of the federal government. I don't think they should be doing the federal government's work in that area. If you need more ICE agents, let's hire them, and that's what the administration is planning to do. But I do believe that you do need that element of trust between all peoples, regardless of their immigration status, to be able to come and engage with the police. And if you're an agent of the federal government, that is going to be lessened. It's going to be dampened. I
mean, and you're right. Under Mayor Bloomberg and your leadership, New York was not a sanctuary city. But you've got a lot of pushback going on right now with the immigration crackdown. I mean, the Trump administration's crackdown is aimed at stopping dangerous criminals from entering the country illegally. Jeff Sessions vowing to stop the spread of the MS-13 Central American gang through stricter enforcement. Listen to what he said last night.
We know they're violent. We know that if we focus our prosecutorial and investigative resources, and we had a meeting today with all the top federal law enforcement officers and the agencies in our government to focus on this group. And as we have cases and we work them hard, we pursue convictions, and then we deport people who are here unlawfully, we can devastate this gang.
So two questions. I mean, number one, do you think this stops dangerous criminals from coming to the country? And number two, wouldn't you think that stopping dangerous criminals from entering the country would be something that everybody would get on board?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, it just sounds so odd to me.
I don't know who's questioning that. Quite frankly, most of the gang activity in this country is from people who are born here in major cities throughout America. And many of the MS-13 people are now born here. It's a result of sort of a mass immigration that came up in the 80s from people from El Salvador, people from other Central American countries, came up and went to the West Coast and sort of migrated here. Yeah, it is an issue. It's an issue that should be addressed, and I don't know who could be against that, quite frankly.
Right. They just don't want changes to immigration. I mean, they want to protect illegals. A lot of people on the left want that.
Well, I think you should obey the law. I think the cities should adhere to the regulations from the federal government.
Right.
There's an issue
law.
as to whether or not they're going to get the Homeland Security grants. I think we're going to see an arm wrestle over that, particularly a political season here in New York. There's a mayoral election, so that issue is going to be brought to the fore.
Yeah, a lot of people want you to run for mayor, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's very flattering.